expect to find on my pitch.
Would you say that you preferred well camping or staying at campsites?
Hi guys, and welcome back to another video. So today is very exciting because we are about to set off on our 10-day road trip around Scotland, and on that road trip we're staying at wild camping spots and at campsites, and we're going to tell you about the pros and cons of wild camping and campsites, so stay tuned because it's going to be exciting.
So guys, you join us at Trossachs Holiday Park, where this campsite is the first campsite that we've stayed at now, especially for this guy, because you've travelled from way down south, haven't you? So
way down south.
So coming from sort of like the Derbyshire area up to obviously Scotland, you know, we needed a base to go to, and this is why for the first night we stayed at a campsite. Now the pros of staying at a campsite is the fact that you've got somewhere to come, you've got like a target to get to, rather than sort of like because it got dark like quite quick last night, didn't it? You're very quick, because obviously it's that time of year where it's getting dark early. We were just saying, because Scott's travelled so far, we've come to a campsite, it's just good that we have somewhere on the first day to go to, just to get everything settled in, get everything like ready and everything. But today we're going well camping, so we're going to compare what it's like staying at a campsite to well camping. Now you've not done a lot of well camping, have you?
Not that much.
Not that
Most
much.
of the times I've done a campsite and sort of the right spots for the night stay, safe place.
Now the cons about staying at a campsite is you're restricted with time. You have to leave at a certain time. We found out when we checked in last night there was no one here. It caused a bit of an issue getting in because we couldn't get through the barrier.
The barriers were shut.
We came in and we didn't know where we was going. They told us over the phone where we was going, everything, you know. But can you think of any cons, any pros and cons about staying at a campsite that you?
Pros is obviously get up in the morning, have a nice shower, clean up, do the hair, have a good clean up.
I hear you.
I hear you. And as I say, it's a base.
It's
a pit stop. I 99% wild camp.
Right.
So because I've got everything on board. Like that. But yeah, as a business wise, if someone, say as a business for instance, contacted you to say, oh, you're coming down, yes, we're on the way, and then you arrive, for instance, and the gate's shut,
and you can't get in,
and you can't get hold of anyone, and you have to go through a keypad system, and you've travelled over 400 miles, it's an inconvenience when you've rung and you said you're just literally miles away. That's a con for me. Because
that is what happened last night, so... But, you know, we've had a nice comfortable stay and everything, so what we're going to do is, obviously when we go well camping, we know where we're going to Loch Ness, and we've got an idea like where it is we want to go. So again, when we get over there, we'll show you the pros and cons of well camping, and then we'll go from there, so we'll catch up with you soon. So guys, we've been out all day. You'll have seen that in the videos, you know, when we left Loch Lomond, and now we're going over to Loch Ness. So we've been out all day, and now we know where we want to go well camping. Now this is one of the cons, if you like, about well camping. If you know somewhere that you want to go, there's a possibility the space might not be there, and if it's not, then we're going to have to look for somewhere else. Now it's getting dark now as well, isn't it?
It's also a bit different because there's 3 vans now as well, so you can't fit in the smaller spaces. Yeah,
so it's got to be somewhere where we can all fit. So let's carry on going, and you know, we'll see like, you know, how we get on and if we get the spot that we want. So speak to you when we get there. Morning everyone. So as we can see, this is where we camped last night, and this is a well camping spot, and here we are at Loch Ness. Now, some pros. I mean, just look at the view that we've woke up to. It's just amazing. It's nice and early in the morning. You know, we've all decided we're on it today because we've got a lot to do, lots of places to see. So it's just amazing. Now, one of the cons that I will say about coming here is we didn't get here till, well, it wasn't that late actually, but the thing is, because it's getting quite dark early now, finding this place, you can imagine there's no lights or anything, and you know, when we actually got here we couldn't quite see. And the other con is as well is the fact that this road, even though it's a quiet road, when cars were going past, because you know it's quite an open road, there was some noisy cars coming past and things, but you know what, that's nothing. It's not something that we need to worry about, because to wake up to a view like this is amazing. Now the good thing is, because we're not at a campsite, we can stay here like all day, we can have some breakfast and things, we're not restricted by time. And then last night when we got here, like I said, it was quite late on, but the fact that we could just set up and relax and everything, and there's a beautiful view, so I'll show you down here a definite pro of why we stayed here last night. This is why we come well camping. You hungry there, Scott? It's alright, you don't worry about it. You have your breakfast, it's fine.
Banana.
Amazing, isn't it, here? So Thor's over there, he wants to go for a walk. But Loch Ness, guys, definitely get well camping. Check it out here and leave no trace. Guys, we had a really good night's stay at the wild camping spot at Dunnet Head. Now I'm going to talk about a little bit of a con here about this wild camping spot. You'll have seen it in another video. If not, during the night somebody thought it was really funny to drive past with a speaker really loud, and they was screaming and shouting like wake up and things like that. Needless to say, they got off when we got out. So I mean, but yeah, that is a con of wild camping. But as you can see, we look on the positive side. The pros of it is the amazing views that we had. We had a really peaceful night's sleep, apart from being woke up by them guys. But anyway, we don't worry about things like that. So today we're going over to John O'Groats and we're staying at a campsite. So stay tuned, because we're going to tell you about the pros and cons of this campsite, because we know this campsite. We have stayed here before and we like it. And we know we're going to get a fire pit going. Morning everyone. So we have stayed at Ferryview campsite last night. We're there, Conrad and the gang are there, Scott's over there. Just look at that view that we have got. This is what we woke up to last night, and it's a beautiful day today. So glad that the weather has cleared up a bit. It's cold, but really glad that it's starting to clear up a bit. So it goes without saying, the pros of staying at a campsite. I mean, again, just look at the views. If you look at Scott, how much room that he's got there, this is just one pitch. Let's just go and like look at him. Thinks he's like the king over here with all your... Have you got enough room here on this bit here?
Well, I have got a big booty.
Right, well there we go. That's just right, just for him. So, but no, like generous space sizes.
Good area for us to sit out with a fire.
Yeah, and that's what we did last night. And you will have seen that video already if you've been following along with this tour. Like, you know, it's great having a nice campfire. But it's the view, and there's Brooke doing a radio check. So, do you know what, guys? What can I say? Is there any cons about staying at this campsite? No, because we're up early anyway. We're leaving early. We've got lots to do today, lots of travel. Now we are well camping tonight, and the well camping spot that we've got, we've not been to this one before, so we're really excited about this one. So let's get on the road, guys, and let's see where we're going next. Yes.
You're following
all the
us.
Details to...
Right. Conrad, do you want the postcode, or are you just following?
Yeah, I follow.
Okay.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Morning everyone. This is where we well camped last night. What an amazing view to wake up to. So guys, we're talking about the pros and cons about well camping. This is a pro. To wake up to something like this, no words. Yes. Checked in with the guys. They're happy, they're just getting ready. So guys, we're not at a campsite. You'll have seen in one of the previous videos, we were supposed to stay at a campsite on one of the nights, and what happened was there was winds, like serious like weather issues and like serious winds, and the campsites was advising people not to stay on that particular campsite because it was right next to the coast. So because of that, and we also were supposed to be meeting some people, but they ended up leaving as well. They got a refund, so you know, there's no issues. So we got advised not to stay at this particular campsite because it was on the coast. So what we had to do is we had to, and this is where I've said before, you know, your plans can change all the time. We had to find a well camping spot that was sort of like more inland. But Scott's going around cleaning everything up because this place is disgusting, because people come here and they just dump the rubbish and everything, and you know what, fair play, because just got up and Scott's going around like tidying things up. So, but anyway, so the pros and cons. So the pros of the well camping is we've managed to stay here. The cons of the campsite is, now it's very rare that that's going to happen because of weather, that we can't stay somewhere, but that's what we ended up doing last night. We didn't want the Forestry Commission coming in thinking it was anything to do with van life, did we?
No,
so
because everyone will point the finger straight away.
now today we're going over to the Isle of Skye and we're well camping, so we'll catch up with you then. Hey everyone, so you'll have seen in one of the previous videos about the severe weather that we had, the wind and the rain. It was crazy. So that night we were supposed to stay at a campsite. Now we actually got advice from the campsite, and we knew some people that was already there staying there not to stay. They offered full refunds to the people that were there, and they basically said to them, because you're on the seafront, it's just too windy and it's not safe really to like stay somewhere like that. You couldn't get out the van or anything because that's how severe the weather was. What we did is we carried on going and we sort of like tried to get like inland as much as we could. We then needed to find a well camping spot because we weren't staying at that particular campsite. And guys, this is where we are. Now, pros and cons of well camping and staying at a campsite. There's pros and cons for all of them, but we had to change our plans. And like I said, one of the pros about having that mindset where, you know, even when you're booked in a campsite, it's not guaranteed that you're going to be staying in that campsite. So again, this is where we ended up. Let's show you where we parked for the last couple of nights. Spot that we camped at last night. The views say it all. So we stayed here for one night. Now here's the thing, we've been doing the road trip now for about almost 10 days.
Yes.
We've only stayed at one campsite. That means we've been well camping at all the other places. So what does that tell you? It tells you that well camping, if done correctly, can be done in a way where you can really enjoy it, and if you leave no trace. We're staying at a campsite tonight, so let's get on the road and we're going to talk to you more when we get to the campsite. So this is our last night of our road trip. What I want to ask you, Scott, is pros and cons of well camping. In a couple of sentences, give me some pros, give me some cons of campsites, and same with well camping.
Pros of wild camping is you're going to park anywhere that you find safe enough to park up. I've got a completely off-grid setup on mine, so it's easy for me. Yeah. Whereas if I needed to charge all my batteries up and everything like that, a campsite, then of course the main obvious thing is with a campsite is going to have a shower.
Yes.
It's full-on showers, toilet.
Yeah.
It's a fact of life. We'll just go to the toilet or anything like that. Keep everything fresh and clean. Hook up for your, you know, for your heaters or anything like that. I'm mostly wild camp. Yeah. So this is again on this trip is a new experience for me. Yeah. Okay, it's not a few sentences I know, but it's it's a different experience for me. I find it's enjoyable, but wild camping, especially with some of the shots that we've had. Yeah.
So Conrad.
Yes.
This is our last night of camping out and everything. It's gone quick. Gone quick, hasn't it?
Too quick. That's unbelievable. I'm just broken now. I feel like
there's going to be more trips, so we don't need to worry about that. So I've got a question for you.
Go on.
On this trip, we've stayed at campsites and we've done well camping. For you, what do you prefer? Do you prefer being in a campsite or do you prefer well camping?
Both. It's got the pros and cons. However, there's something about the wild camping, the adventure, adrenaline, freedom.
Yes.
Not necessarily looking at the time that we've got to leave, we've got to check in. So I would go for the wild camping.
Brooke, same question for you. On this trip, we've done lots of well camping and a couple of campsites. We were supposed to do more, but that didn't happen. If you've seen all the videos, you'll know why that is. But on this trip, would you say that you preferred well camping or staying at campsites?
Wild camping.
Yes, there
but
we go.
I do like going to my campsites in between.
Yeah. The thing is, for us, campsites is like good because like at the moment we're getting everything charged up and like all the power units and that. But I think realistically we can go 3 or 4 days well camping and it's not an issue.
Yeah,
so,
and then go to a campsite for a shower.
you know, then we can like mix it up and everything. And
what do you prefer? Wild camping?
Oh, Thor definitely prefers wild camping.
Wild camping.
All the places that we've gone. So
another thing about wild camping is that if I was to pull up and I get something go through my tyre, that's at my risk. When I pull onto a campsite that's been paid for, I don't expect to find on my pitch dog food and a 7-inch spike stuck in the floor that could tear through the side of my tyres.
And that is what you found when you...
That's exactly what I've got on my pitch right now.
So guys, the question is, pros and cons of well camping, what is the best way to do it? And do you know what, I think what you can see from this video is, if you're doing a long trip, the best way to do it, we think, is to do both. Do some well camping, do some campsites. As we've all said, the same thing, with the well camping, you're not restricted, you can go to places, you know, you can find your camp up, as long as you leave no trace, stay there, enjoy the views, you can arrive when you want, you can leave when you want, and like I said, as long as you're not disturbing anybody or anything, well camping, it definitely, for us, for me, I would say, is the best way to do it. But using the campsites as what they're intended for, so you can obviously use the facilities and things like that. Road trips where we have done trips where we've stayed in just campsites and everything, and do you know what, we've really enjoyed that as well. But this experience with this road trip has shown us that, for us, I think well camping for us is the best way to travel for. And I keep saying it's for us, it's not for everybody, because you do have to adapt everything as you're doing it, because if the well camping spots aren't available and things, then obviously you need to change your plans. That being said, we did have some campsites booked, and the plans of that changed as well with different weather conditions and so on. So I hope today's video has been informative for you. Everyone's different, but it's a good thing to sort of go out and try different things. There's a few of us doing this road trip, and we've all got different opinions of things, and like I said, there are pros and cons of well camping, and there are pros and cons of staying at campsites. If you haven't already, guys, hit that subscribe button. It really helps the channel out, and we really do appreciate it. Bye for now.